Hello people, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the Chewitt Mini Cooper Cup, and we're back at the Pro League now, now that we've fixed our live streaming, so for a little bit of continuity we've switched back. So if you're coming here looking for the ProAm race, that is being covered by Dark Smoker. I will chuck a link to his stream in the comments below. He's not live yet, so I'll do that when he is. And obviously we're covering the Pro, so we're about to go into the qualifier. I'm just chucking some... oh, he's live now. I'm just chucking some stuff about. 1 second. So the camera's going to be a bit funny for a minute. It always does this in GT Sport. I don't know why. Okay, so 15 minutes qualifying around this very short circuit. So the first one on track is Cutler, so he's about to start his outlap. It's going to be difficult keeping up with this because once the times come in, they will come in at a rapid pace. It is a tiny circuit. Do this, so I'm just going to chuck some links about as we watch Cutler do his thing. 1 minute. His stream's been a pain in the ass. There's no one watching it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Let's go to Dark Smoker's channel. He's live, yeah. Lovely, so time's coming in then. Currently Sparks below 45 sets the pole time. What I will do in the interim is just have a look at where the boys are in terms of championship standings and all that good stuff. So yeah, qualifying is going to be difficult here on the basis of it's such a short track. The margins are going to be very tight. So we saw in practice that Sparks, F124YS, Matt Lambert, Cutler were all setting exceptionally similar times, like to within 100th of each other. So whether we see that play out again as they come around to set another lap. See if this man who always puts a good qualifying in just misses out. Matthew Lambert's about to come across. What can he do? So no, he's massively down on that time, so he'll be going for a hot lap this time around. Right, so let's just give you some championship order and all that sort of stuff and see where the land lies. So current championship leader is this man, Fraser, F124YS, who leads the championship going into this round by 8 points. Next to him, or just behind him in this case, is VLX Sparks, who is, like we say, 8 points behind. Then the guys have got a bit of a gap. The next guy who isn't in the lobby right now is PK261, and he's in third. And then Cutler is in fourth, Scar Wars in fifth, 1805 in sixth, TC Fredo in seventh. Matthew Lambert, who is relatively new, so we know he's a fast guy, is Matthew Lambert. He's not really done that many races though. Currently residing in 8th, Biggsy 9th, and Cuddles in 10th. I think Cuddles is moving house at the minute, so don't be surprised to not see him in the lobby. We do miss him. So Fraser just getting out of Sparks' way. Sparks comes across to set another time. He was trending up on his fastest lap, so let's see if he can break the 45-second barrier. Just misses out. I think Fraser sort of getting out of his way almost at the start did cost him a little bit of time. Fraser running the FU Cancer logos on his car as well. If you remember, that's the race that replaced this while they had the mid-season break. Matthew Lambert sets himself a nice time, a 45.1. So if we'll see the 45-second barrier broken in this one is yet to be seen. Sparks is the man on pole at the minute with a 45.004. This is to go ever so slightly faster to get into the 44-second range. He's currently punching a hole in the air for Cutler and Fraser though. Can he get any quicker? Sparks doesn't improve. Fraser doesn't improve either. Matthew Lambert then, see what he can do. Personal best lap last time out with a 45.1. It's gonna be a 45.2 this time around, so just slightly slower. Conrad Racing. Whether that's a name change on PSN, I don't know. It could be Conreese. Could it be Conreese? It might be Conreese. If you know and you're watching this, let me know please, because I have no idea who this guy is. Anyway, Conrad Racing. Seems to have good pace though, whoever he is, in the Evergreen Tyres liveried car. He's dealing with a little bit of lag at the minute by looking at it. It's Conreese. We'll just call him Conrad. That works for me. Currently in 5th, but just shy of 4th position. Can't improve just yet. There's still 10 minutes of this session to go. So they're going to get loads of laps on these guys. So Cutler then is actually racing in the exact livery that Chloe Hewitt runs in the real life mini challenge. So long time viewers of the stream will be familiar with this story, but if you're just checking this out new, you won't be so familiar. This is a replica of a real life sort of racing event, and it's in the name of Chewitt Racing, who are just see Fraser bump drafting Cutler there. Cutler doesn't improve his time. Fraser does. Fraser gets really close. So Fraser does improve by 100th of a second. So yeah, the Hewitt Racing family, of which this man is a member of, TC Freddo, who races in the Car Endurance Championship. He's only a young lad. He's only like 16, 17 years old. But I think his cheetah livery is sort of indicative of what his livery is on his Ford KA. I did see some pictures on the Chewitt Racing Facebook page not so long ago. Maybe he knows we're talking about him and he's doing that for the cameras. If so, Freddo, stop showing off. But yeah, the livery you see on Cutler's car, it's sort of like almost in the zebra. Zebra? Am I American? No, I'm not. Zebra. That is Chloe Hewitt's car, essentially. Cutler's driving him. See if Lambert can improve. No, just shy. But see what I mean? There's really not a lot of time between these two. In fact, Sparks and Fraser, the battle for pole, that is separated at the minute by less than 10th of a second. And Fraser is currently on an improved time, but he has got Cutler almost in his way, so Cutler could potentially hold him up. Cutler's not a slow guy though, but if he does make a mistake, that could write Fraser's lap off. Fraser's desperately sticking in the slipstream, and he doesn't improve. He was up going into sector 2, so whether Fraser's purposely sticking by here in order to get a bit of slipstream, I don't really know, but it's not working out for him in that final sector, because for one reason or another he's losing out there. Let's check in with our poleman Sparks, and he's just ahead of these guys on the track, massively down on his time, not really worth watching him. Fraser's down as well. Matt Lambert's getting out of people's way. Is Cutler on about an improved time as well? We'll see when he comes across the line. Star Wars hasn't exited the pits yet, so Star Wars still sat in there. We've got 8 drivers at the minute. Star Wars is sat in the pits. Let's see if any of these post improved times. They don't. Everyone's sort of maxed out already. Let's see what Conrad Racing can do. 45.3 to beat. He's not going to beat that. Big Z 7th. He's see, this is the thing. The Big Z, who is the last place driver that's out qualifying because Star Wars is in the pit. It's only 5.5 tenths. As you see, Freddo post improved time. It's only 5.5 tenths off Sparks for pole. So there's really, this is a really close field in terms of overall pace. So yeah, we did see Freddo post a 45.4. Good lap from Fredo. We might go on board with him for his next lap. So Fredo, if you're watching this, your driving needs to be on point for the next lap, my friend. I'll take you around a lap of Kyoto Miyabi. Tiny circuit. Sparks breaks the 45 second barrier and posts a 44.9. So we'll come back to him after we've gone on board with Fredo for a lap. So the first corner is a really long sweeping right-hander. It sort of almost opens up on exit, so you want to take a really wide line, almost a mid-apex. Use the curve to almost pull you around, and I used to accelerate as soon as I saw that Marshall's post. This one can be taken flat out. It looks like Fredo's just abandoned this lap and will cruise us around. Yeah, we run the car as wide as you can here. Almost brake just as the curbs start there. A variety of different ways to take this corner. Ultimately, you just want to get the best line into the chicane as possible. You can cut these. You may pick up penalties for cutting them too much, but you can certainly brave it. And Fredo's going to peel off into the pits. So yeah, Sparks. Wow, 44.9. That gives Fraser all the work to do, as we see Cutler and Matt Lambert getting it together. Has Fraser got an answer for the 44-second lap? He hasn't right now. He's not improving. Matthew Lambert does though. Matthew Lambert pips Cutler to the second row of the grid and posts a very good 45.005. So a similar time to what we saw Sparks do before he improved. All these guys obviously are qualifying on the same tyre as well, so we're all on the medium tyre. They don't have to worry about tyre degradation, they don't have to worry about fuel consumption. It is purely just a race with driver skill taken into account. Sparks isn't improving. Matthew Lambert's abandoned his lap. A couple of minutes remaining. You might see a couple of these guys give up now and just use the last 3 minutes to like go for a wheel or something, who knows. See if Conrad Racing manages to improve. He is 500ths of a second off Cutler, so he can pip himself a position up the grid if he improves his time. He does improve, but it's not enough. And he's got a 3-second penalty for ignoring a waved yellow flag, which is a ridiculous penalty to get, so he's going to have to serve that now. Let's see Sparks pit. So what's happening at the minute is because Biggs is parked up there, you see that's brought the yellow flags out, and if anyone overtakes, Fraser now, they will get a 3-second penalty. So it's happened to me a few times in my races, and it is vastly infuriating. As Fredo's coming back around again. This is an outlap basically. So if Fredo was to overtake someone coming around here, he'd get a penalty for it. Unfortunately, that doesn't look like it's happening for either of the guys. Fraser's getting himself out of the way. Matthew Lambert getting very close as well. Fredo's very close to his personal best time, so we'll see what time he posts in sectors 2, see if he manages to improve on that. Really using the most of the track limits. Late on the brakes, he looks like he's going for a late apex. Gets him a really nice line actually coming out of the corner into the chicane. He can get on the power nice and early, again maximises track limits. And let's see if this is improvement. A 45.4 to beat. It's not going to be an improvement, I'm afraid. Cutler meanwhile doesn't improve. Let's see what Conrad Racing can do. He's going to be the next man across the line. He did improve his time. We watched him do that. Can he do it again? 45.3 to beat. And it's a 45.9 for Conrad, so it's not going to be an improvement at the minute. Our pole sitter is Sparks. It's a very narrow lead he's got to Matthew Lambert, who is our second place man right now. I'll check in with Matthew Lambert actually, because he's just about to come across the line. I didn't clock his times, but he's probably got time for another lap or two. So he's got to beat a 44.9 because Sparks did further improve that, so it's not an improvement now. To be honest, to get any faster than these guys are currently going, you've literally got to wring the nuts off this car. doesn't react well. It doesn't react well to being handled nicely. You've got to absolutely cream it. Okay, let's get some. What's that? Can Matthew Lambert improve? Looks like he's not bothering with this one. Fraser then all the way down in third. Fraser does normally qualify well. Looks like Star Wars has come out and finally set a time of a 45.6. We're going to have a look at Star Wars in just a second. Fraser doesn't improve. Sparks, however, does improve and goes even faster at 44.8. It's an absolutely blistering time. This is a great camera angle we've got on Star Wars. He's just parked at the middle of the track. So yeah, no visibility of that one, I'm afraid. Let's just follow the guys as they come round. So next man across the line is going to be Cutler, then it's going to be Fraser. So we almost go 4-3-2-1 as we cross the line as well. This is the last qualifying lap, last ditch attempt. Fraser's got in the slipstream with Cutler, but he's almost having to push him along. Can any of these guys improve? Cutler doesn't, Fraser doesn't, Matt Lambert doesn't, and Sparks, can he further improve his time? I don't think he's going to. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen, that is your pole. That is your pole sitter right there, and Mr. Sparks. Let's get on with race number 1. So race number 1, don't forget, is a feature race. So in this one we're going to be going 15 minutes. The grid will be set by the qualifier that we've just done. They won't have to worry about tyre wear or fuel depletion. They'll just have a full tank of fuel and it won't go any lower than that. Don't forget these minis, 150 brake horsepower, just over a tonne in weight. They love to rev. And of course every single one of these boys on racing medium tyres. So we see the lights going on then, and away we go. Sparks gets a really good start. So does Star Wars. Has to go round Fredo almost at the end. So Sparks seems to get away well then. Conrad and Cutler having a little bit of a battle. Biggsy seems to have got a good run, but he's stuck on the outside line, so there's not much he can do to there. Conrad is lagging quite badly now. That's going to be causing potential issues to Biggsy behind, as we see his car veer across the track. Cutler's made that move and he's going for a move on Matthew Lambert. As we see a move being made for the lead, Fraser versus Sparks. This is effectively the battle, the championship battle. Having to go that narrow though has slowed him down on exit. So Fraser, although he made that move stick, I'll just go on board with him and have a look back at the furious assembly of minis approaching his rear end. Matthew Lambert basically pushing Sparks along the track. So Sparks, although he's got a penalty there, so Matthew Lambert probably playing a little bit of a cute game here. If he can push Sparks into Fraser and prevent him from just bolting, then he can himself slow the guys down. As Sparks, does he go for a send? No. Cutler doesn't go for a send either. It looks like Conrad Racing's lost out a place or two behind, but holds his line really well. Sparks and Lambert having a bit of a fight now. Sparks has to go off track almost. Side by side does pick up another penalty for his efforts, but there's no particular rule and now he has to save that. He can just save it as and when he wishes. Matthew Lambert going for the outside line. That's potentially not going to work out for him. They are now both inside each other. A first for the Chewitt Racing Mini Cooper Cup. It's actual penetration of vehicles. Things are starting to calm down a little bit, and that's saying something. Star Wars making his way past Conrad. Conrad's had an awful lap. I think this lag is really affecting him now, as we see a little bit of contact between Star Wars and Fredo as they come round for the third time. Then looks like he's still getting a bit tasty at the back. F124YS is pulling away a little bit. Matthew Lambert's still pushing Sparks up with the benefit of the slipstream. All these boys do love a battle. They are not ones to shy away from a challenge. They all love to get involved in scraps and scrapes and have door banging throughout it. They're not averse to that. The man we're following at the minute, loves a fight. So we'll be relishing the challenge of Sparks, and Lambert behind him. Let's take a sip of my tea. So it's pretty much as they were then. I'd say things are relatively starting to calm down. We do see Fredo, who's lost out somewhere, and Fredo's potentially going to look for a move on Conrad. In terms of overtaking at this track, it is doable here, as you see Conrad's lag just really beginning to be a problem. If you're following him, you don't know where his car's going to be from 1 minute to the next. So this next hairpin is the best overtaking opportunity you're going to get. If you get a really good run out of the S's, you can send it like Fredo does, a little bit of contact, but otherwise gets the move made on the inside. Conrad's potentially going to hang on in there. No, he tucks into the slipstream instead. So good move by Fredo. While the action's simmered down a little bit, let's go and have a look at that move that Fraser made on Sparks. So you just see what we were talking about here. Fraser just got a better run out and just sent it up the inside. This was back on lap 1, don't forget. So back with the action then. Fraser does lead to Sparks, who leads to Lambert, Cutler, Bigsy, Scarwars, Fredo and Conrad. So it's as they were. This could produce a very interesting, as Matthew Lambert goes for a move on Sparks now. Maybe he's getting a little bit impatient. Matthew Lambert's going to get that move done, but Sparks is going to hang on in there. Matthew Lambert's going to have the inside line now though. Cutler's potentially looking at picking up some scraps. Cutler does dive to the inside as Lambert goes for the slipstream, but Cutler's now stole his inside line. So Lambert's going to have lost out here. Cutler's going to slip through instead. A great racing move by Cutler. That was just pure racecraft, but he runs it a little bit wide, and Lambert's potentially going to be able to move back on him coming through the S's. All the while, this is bringing Bigsy into the affair. So Bigsy's now clambering all over the back of these guys. Let's get Bigsy's point of view of this fight up ahead. So you see how many different lines everyone's taking. A little bit of a door bang there, but that's okay. Matthew Lambert does fall back because of it. Bigsy does make his way through, but Matthew Lambert's going to have had the slipstream and will now have the inside line, so I'd imagine he gets that move made back again, come around the long sweeping right-hander. Just to point off at this stage, we're 8 laps in, there's only 3.5 seconds between the entire field, so it's still very close here. I'm wondering if Sparks is thinking about making another move, or is he just biding his time, as we see Lambert and Bigsy having another go at each other. So far this race isn't going Matthew Lambert's way. He's trying lots of things, none of it's quite working out just yet. What he doesn't want to do is become frustrated. The win is very much still in his sights. He's only a second behind Fraser. But all the while, all the more these guys fight behind him as Cutler now goes through for second place. Sparks loses out there. Just gets a little bit of a wheel on the grass. That's going to slow his exit speed from the corner down, and maybe Matthew Lambert's going to take advantage on that. He is, and that's Lambert through into third. Somewhere along the line, Scarwars has got past Bigsy as well, so we can go back and have another look at that lovely move by Cutler, putting him up into second place. Let's go and have a look and see what he did there. So he cleverly just got himself inside the slipstream. Parked it. Sparks gave him absolutely tons of room. A little bit of contact, but that was maybe just a reaction from the curb. Lovely move. So yeah, like we covered before, Matthew Lambert just in front of VLX Sparks. VLX Sparks though is potentially going to be looking for a move coming into the hairpin. Does Matthew Lambert defend this? Not necessarily. If he went defensive, that would really hamper his exit speed. We see Scarwars do just that in the background, and he's going to run it wide now. Bigsy's going to potentially have a move on him, but no, Scarwars sticks it. Bigsy goes for the switch back on the chicane, and Sky Wars does pick up a little bit of a track cut penalty. Again, they can burn these off as and when they please. Biggsy's just hanging on in there for now. Fredo in 7th with Conrad Racing and his Primark Internet in 8th position at the minute in time. We're at a halfway point of the race. The fastest lap at the minute, the fastest man on track is Cutler with a 44.8. He may have the benefit of a loaded slipstream, but that's still a damn impressive lap slipstream or not. These cars are like driving cupboards, so they're not the most effective on slipstream. Matthew Lambert then, does he took advantage of something there? I think we may have to go on board with him and just see what happened. So I think he maybe took advantage of a Cutler who broke really early and stuck it to the I wasn't tempted to go on the inside, which I was surprised at. I don't think Cutler was expecting him to be there because there was a bit of a door bang, but Cutler's come right back at him. All the while they're not really breaking, Fraser's not really breaking away. Sparks has dropped back a little bit here, so somewhere along the line Sparks has had an issue. Sky Wars in 5th. We've lost Bigsy somewhere. What's happened to you, Bigsy? I pitted for some reason. I don't know why. So yeah, it's all heating up and it's getting really tasty at the back. Sky Wars and Conrad are having a little bit of a battle. Fredo is almost involved in that one as well. Sky Wars sends Conrad the long way round. Fredo can just resume his normal line. Biggsy's pitted again, so I don't know if Biggsy's got an issue with his car that he's trying to get rectified. The battle really is going on behind, so it's Sky Wars v Fredo v Conrad Racing. So Biggsy's pit crew are really working hard on his car. We can see him from a commentary position here, but that car's not moving anytime soon. All the while he's about to be lapped by the entire field because of it. We'll see if his pit crew can do anything. Meanwhile, up at the front, Matthew Lambert has allowed Sparks to close up a little bit. The battle for first isn't as frantic as it once was, but with a couple of minutes left in this now, it's going to get time for desperate moves. Cutler's really impressive in this race. Fastest lap and has been the mover of the race as well. I think he qualified 4th, didn't he? I'm sure he was 4th. Cutler worked his way up into 2nd with some really magnificent racecraft, has to be said. As we watch them all come through for the 14th time, the Sky Wars Fredo and Conrad battle is still absolutely raging on. Fredo at the minute has been managed to hold off Sky Wars, but Sky Wars now got the inside line. Fredo needs to be careful he doesn't lose a place to Conrad. And he's sticking it, and we could be going 3 wide into the chicane. Now Fredo, I'll tell you what, Fredo's got some tenacity on him, and that's just nudged Sky Wars just out into the grass. The race is not over yet. He could always come back. Meanwhile, Conrad Racing has come from last to 5th in a corner because of their battling, and he just got a really clean run out. Meanwhile then, if we look at Sparks, you can see that Cutler is battling for the lead against Fraser. Let's go on board with Fraser actually. Looking back at Cutler from Fraser's car, is Cutler going to go for a move down the hairpin? It looks like Fraser's going to defend this one. No, Cutler switches to the inside. Fraser's braking there was exemplary. He just managed to get it on the brakes as late as possible. That of course might hamper his ultimate speed, but at the same point Cutler's not been able to get a move made, so is he going to go for the inside on the long sweeping corner? This has proved a popular choice for these guys tonight. He does just that. Cutler's going for the lead of the race with 2.5 minutes remaining. Cutler gets that done and puts the Chloe Hewitt car in first position. We'll go back and have a look at that move when we're confident that Fraser's not going to come straight back at him, like we know he's going to do. I race against Cutler on a Wednesday night, and I can tell you one thing, that guy knows how to defend. He will put his car in the most awkward position just in order to not let you pass, like he's done there as well. Meanwhile, in the background, Fredo's got past Conrad Racing, so he's recovered a little bit, but it's really tightened up at the front. Matthew Lambert's getting involved again now. Fraser's at risk of going down to third now. 2 positions lost in 2 laps. Both at the same corner. So in my opinion, Fraser's car position has not been fantastic in this race, and he's lost out kind of on purpose. Cutler now coming under absolute assault. Sparks sends it off the track. Unfortunately right now we can't really go back and look at that. Matthew Lambert's potentially now making a move up to first position. This is kicking off now. Cutler down to third, Fraser's into second, Matthew Lambert into the lead of the race. It is not over yet. There's at least 2 more laps left in this one. So Matthew Lambert's got Cutler right next to him. Sorry, not Cutler, he's got F124YS. No, that's not right. Yeah, no, it is right. F124YS right next to him, and Cutler behind. Sparks after that off has recovered. So the guys are going to have enough time, I think, to... It's kicking off behind as well. All these guys are going at it. As we've got Sparks go for a move. Oh, that got tasty. I can't skip any of this. I genuinely can't skip any of this, because this is just going off now. Just look at how close this racing is. Matthew Lambert is all over the back of Cutler. There is no time in these guys at all. They are escaping from Fraser and Sparks. That's really what they need to be doing. But as it stands, Cutler in the Chloe Hewitt car is in first position. But this is the last lap now. The timer will expire by the time they get round to the start-finish straight again. There's only 8 seconds left. They're not going to make it round in that time. So we'll keep our eyes exactly on what's going on here as we see Sparks and Fraser go for it. Now Cutler defends really well. Can Matthew Lambert get a better drive out the corner? Oh, he can. I think he can. Is Lambert going to get this right at the end? Cutler's going to stick it in, but I think Lambert's going to get this one. It's now a drag race to the line. I think Lambert's got a better drive out the corner. He has. Lambert's got this one made. Cutler in second, Fraser in third, VLX Sparks in fourth. Conrad, Fredo, Scar Wars and Biggs' pit crew didn't manage to get his car repaired in time, unfortunately. So that's your order, and what a finish to this race. Matthew Lambert just blitzed it on the last lap. So we'll give him his due. Okay, so Fraser, before you ask for it, resetting route or something's going on. That was blinding. That was. Yeah, just the minis, as always, produce an absolute scorcher of a race. So who won that one? Matthew Lambert. Yeah, so it looks like there might have been a little bit of contact going on there, but all the while, so we normally have a little bit of a break. Okay, alright, so let's just catch up on group chats and stuff like that and see what's going off. Right then, so what we have coming up next for you, ladies and gentlemen, is a reverse grid race. So we'll take the results. Of that one we've just seen in 6 minutes' time. We'll flip it on its head. We'll double the race length, so we'll go to 30 minutes. Alright, reverse grid, and as you can see, you can overtake here. It can happen. What we will then do is open up the tyre selection to go, you can go with the hardest compound, which is a racing hard, so that provides the least amount of grip but the most durability, and then we'll give them the option of going to the medium, the soft or the super soft as well. And as you can imagine, the names sort of give it away. The medium is a bit of a best of both worlds. The soft doesn't have as much life as the previous two, but will give you more grip, and the super soft is an extreme version of that. What they will then have to deal with though is those tyres depleting at 10 times. So for every lap they do, they're effectively taking 10 laps out of the tyres, and for fuel that's times 8, so same, 8 times fuel depletion. They typically then only get like half a tank of fuel as well, I think. 70 litres, yeah, so only 70 litres. As you can see confirmed on the screen. So as our host Cutler has changed the settings, then the guys can now get a few laps practicing. Got shunted into the pits. So yeah, it looks like Biggsy was involved in a little bit of contact that ended with him slamming it into the pits. Never mind, mate. Never mind. Yeah, so the map you can see on screen is the Kyoto driving park. It's fictional. It's one of Grand Theft Auto's many fictional circuits that they put into the game. It's a really good track to drive. Actually, not my favourite. It's by far and away not my favourite, but it is still a fun track. Yeah, I can't really figure out whereabouts on the lap it is from the overview we've got. I should be able to figure that out, but I can't. We've raced here in the GT4s. Thank God we've not raced it in the GT3s. Not my favourite track, not my strongest track at all. There's quite a load of different layouts to do. The Miyabi is the short version. So as you can see, even in the minis that are only 150 horsepower, it only takes 46 seconds to get around a lap. Let's get some raped on the line. To be fair, Cutler, mate, I'll give Matt Lambert his credit on that one. I think he just went for exit speed out of the corner, so I didn't initially move on you. Yeah, I just think he went for that pure exit speed. I'll check on comments and see. That's why my comments didn't show up, because I'm on Dark Smoker's stream. Any comments on mine? No. Let's go and check in with Mr. Smoker. Okay. So yeah, this is the results of the last race you've just seen. So effectively in our next race we'll have Biggsy on pole. So Biggsy and Scar was at the front of the race. Fredo and Conrad behind. Vilex, Sparks and Fraser. And then Cutler and Lambert behind that. So yeah, some good action promise. We've got half an hour to go. A half an hour race ahead of us. That is countless laps. The field spread isn't going to be that big. You tend to find with these little tracks that yeah, you don't really spread out that much. And there's always cars to sort of get involved with. Even though we've only got 8 drivers, this course is absolutely tiny. So. Ironing board. Yeah, Matthew Lambert's racing on an ironing board tonight, ladies and gents. Let's have a look. In fact, let me just get a picture of it up. I can't show you on the stream, I wish I could, but he's literally racing on an ironing board. I think he put a picture up earlier on. Was that him? Yeah, it was. He's literally got what looks to be a G29. Literally a fucking ironing board and an office chair. What a hero. Yeah, so we're back to we're not far away from race 2. So we've lost a driver, we've lost Conrad. I think he's doing a router reset. So we'll see if he does. Conrad's joined back in again. So this one, of course, the guys can. And this is where I turn this on because we can see fuel and stuff. Yeah, this is where the guys do their experimentation with tyres and all that sort of stuff. I don't expect this track to be what we call high deg, so I don't expect the tyre wear on this one to be that bad, to be fair. There's also the opportunity for the guys to save a little bit more fuel as well, because they're more likely to be in slipstream given the proximity of the circuit. Gonna need to set the grid. Yeah, it does. I have no idea what Fredo's doing. Literally no idea. I think he's just messing about. Fair play, Fredo, mate. Fair play. So this stream's a little bit boring. There's not a lot to talk about in these breaks. It does get a little bit tedious. So what I will do is sit here and say that if you want to check out Dark Smoker's channel, he streams the Pro-Am lobby. Please do so. He's doing the exact same as me right now. He's just streaming it live on the good old YouTube. He also does race reviews and commentaries as well, very much like me. So if you want to go and check him out, do just that. Once the stream publishes, there'll be a link to his channel in the description below. Also check out NGR Racing esports if this is the sort of thing that you want to get involved in. They don't just do minis, they do Siroccos, they do GT3 cars, they do Project Cars 2 and all sorts. So do check them out, they're a good bunch of people. And of course, check out Chewitt Racing on Facebook. So the series that we're doing right now is effectively in honour of Chewitt Racing, who do real life stuff. Tony does sometimes dip in on stream and say hello. He's not popped in tonight, so he's not popped in yet. I've not seen him coming in. Obviously Chloe races the minis, and we occasionally see Fredo racing the Ford KAs as well, so definitely worth chucking them a bit of a follow and a like and a subscribe and all that stuff. We're just waiting for Cutler to set the grid and get everything underway. So of course he's having to do it manually then because someone has dropped out. Oh, I've got a comment on me. Who's commenting? No, who's this? Who's this? Who's saying hello? It'll be Dark Smoker probably. Yeah, it's Dark Smoker. Right, solid. Hard to describe, like, well, literally, let's just say first 4 laps, absolute hell, chaos, overtakes all over the place, settled down during the middle a little bit, and then the last 5 minutes the lead changed about 14 times. The top 4 were just battling constantly, so it were Cutler, who led for quite a while, F124YS, who led for quite a while, Sparks, who led briefly but seemed to have a few issues tonight, and then Matthew Lambert just came from bloody nowhere and just flew. So yeah, good to hear the Pro-Ams are going well. I think Hunt is, from my experience, Hunt is on a bit of a win streak, so hopefully someone can keep him honest. We are now ready to go for race number 2. Okay, that's that. Okay, right. Hunty! Good luck in race 2, mate. Hopefully you get a good result. We're about to get underway here for the endurance race. We're going to restart this one. For some reason it's put Matthew Lambert on pole. Restart. Don't know what happened there. Matthew Lambert is thinking, no, I'm just going to go round and I'll win. Yeah, Hunty, how are you getting on, mate? Are you underway for your race yet? So we have to wait for these guys to come in. I'm going to drop over to Dark Smoker's channel.
You like that, did you? Well, it was there in front of me, I could not
Just waiting for Cutler to do this grid. Okay, let's go. I have, yeah, sweet. Right, so the ProAms are getting underway. We should be about there as well. Let's try again. Yes, let's do this. Let's see how this grid looks. Kyoto driving part, Miyabi. That's a bit more like it. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Right then, keep an eye on the lights. There we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go for race number 2. Big Zig is a really good start, so does Fraser at the back. So these first few laps are all going to be about the guys from the back trying to fight their way up to the front. Meanwhile, the guys that are at the front at the minute won't want to give up their places. So you do normally see quite a lot of action, as you see at the back already. Matthew Lambert making his way up through the grid, so is Sparks actually. So Sparks and Fraser battling away already. They've got quite a bit of traffic to get through. I call it traffic. There are cars that are there. As Conrad's Primark Internet plays up again and pictures him all over the track. Sparks takes a really wide line. That's going to give him a penalty. More importantly, it's going to give him a really, really, really bad run coming up the main straight. I call it a straight. It's not very long. As that's Fraser now past Fredo. Fredo's going to fight it though and keep it on the inside. Fredo is a racer, so he'll fight that one. Matthew Lambert's taking advantage of that slow speed and he's going to make his way through as well. Matthew Lambert's importantly got the inside line for the next corner. If Fredo doesn't defend it, sometimes it's easier to take the wide line in there and go for exit speed. So Fredo's defending this one well, but Matthew Lambert does eventually get past him. Fredo could be the fly in the ointment for a lot of these guys today. Sparks and Fraser currently held up behind him. And we forget he's not slow, is Fredo. It might be worth us just checking in on what sort of tyres they're all starting on. So Fredo's actually on the medium tyre, so in theory should be slower. A lot of these guys picking the medium tyre, a lot of them going with the soft. As you see Fredo now battling against Sparks. So what you might also see is a lot of people fuel saving in this race. We're still 3 laps in. Biggs is still way ahead of this, holding some good pace. He's got Scar Wars behind him. You tend to see the race pace in race 2 slow down a little bit as people are looking after tyres and so on and so forth. Sparks makes a move on Fredo for 4th. Fraser's going to want to get through there quickly. Fraser's on what should be the softer, it is the softer tyre, but it should be the faster tyre. So he's currently setting personal best sector times as well. Yeah, Fraser's on the soft. A lot of people ahead of him are on the medium. He should be able to make these moves relatively easy. Conrad's having some massive issues with his internet tonight. So we see Matthew Lambert in 3rd. He's really making a challenge now for the lead. As we see Scar Wars go through. Conrad Racing's actually left the room, so whether his internet ended up giving up on him, and that's probably why we're showing lag so much. Not too sure. Biggsy's been sent really wide then, and that's going to allow Matthew Lambert to have a good run at him coming down the back. S's section. Down to 7 drivers now. Biggsy's still on the tail end of Scar Wars. In fact, they're doing a little bit of door banging. It all gets a little bit tasty. I've marked that. We may well choose to go back and have a look at that. Meanwhile, that's worked out brilliantly for Matthew Lambert and Fraser, who slide up unaffected. Sparks now getting a little bit frustrated, and for some reason Scar Wars just ends up in the wall. I'm going to have to go back and have another look at that, I think, and just see what happened. So we were on board with Scar Wars. It was Scar Wars and Biggsy that were having the tussle at the front. This is a replay, of course, of what just happened. Yeah, it all got very sideways. Sparks ended up going wide. I don't know if this is going to go far enough to allow us to see it. But yeah, that either way was contact we don't want to be seeing. So 1, 2, 3 now. The got a lot of the finishers from last time on. Cutler's stuck in 5th behind Fredo. Your current order is F124YS, Matthew Lambert, although that's due to change. Fraser's on the stickier tyres, so he should be able to hold this round the outside, and of course he will then have the inside line for the next corner. He does do just that. Sparks is also on the soft tyre, so Matthew Lambert's the odd one out here. He's the one on the medium compound. So if anyone should be the slow out of these lot, it's Matthew Lambert. He won't have as much lateral grip. Lambert also almost cut Sparks' nose off coming through that corner. Gets a really good run out though, and he's going to potentially be attacking Fraser. Meanwhile, Fredo running in 4th. He's also on the medium tyre. Cutler behind on the soft, and Biggsy on the soft as well. Biggsy's taken some massive life out of those tyres. And Scar Wars on the soft as well. Now running out the back after that unfortunate contact we saw a couple of laps ago. Meanwhile, it's a rock solid battle for first now. as we see Sparks, Fraser and Matthew Lambert all battling for supremacy in the minis. Minis at Miyabi. That's what I might call the video, who knows. So you spend a vast proportion of this lap on full throttle, so it doesn't really create much in terms of speed deficits, because everyone's got the same car, same engine, and the same amount of time on full throttle. Probably a little bit of a lift coming through this section, just to stop the car from understeering effectively. As you see Fraser's car there really leaning into that corner. Sparks gets a much better run out, actually gives him a little shove up towards Matthew Lambert. This is very much a race that could be decided by strategy. It's going to be that close. As Fraser potentially went for a move there on Matthew Lambert, and Matthew Lambert's going to leave the door open a little bit for him, but he knows that Fraser can't make a move work around the outside here. Sparks gives him a little nudge. Cutler has managed to get past Fredo behind, so Cutler's now able to mount an attack forward if he so wishes. Don't forget, ladies and gents, these tyres will have now done a net 100 laps of this circuit, on the basis of them being a 10 times multiplier. So we're on the 10th lap now, and they will have done 100 laps in multiplier terms. That's a tyre wear. Not necessarily going to play a massive factor in this, I don't think. They will have factored that into their race strategy. As we see the guys go around once more, let's have a check on the rest of the field. So yeah, Cutler's got past Fredo. Fredo himself has broke away from Big Z, and Star Wars is starting to get back at him. You see the left front on Big Z's car there getting an absolute scuffing. When we were on board with Sparks a lap or so ago, you saw he was taking a lot of that corner at partial throttle, potentially to save his tyres a little bit, whereas Big Z there was full throttle, hammering it all the way around. As we see now, it's getting really tasty as Sparks makes a move into seconds. We'll go back and have a look at what happened there, because we looked to catch that quite late. Let's see what happened. So Sparks was running in third. He just got a better run out of the S's, I think. Late switch over move to the inside, and yeah, got the move done on the inside of the corner to bounce Fraser out wide for second. Fraser, of course, our current championship leader, in a direct fight with VLX Sparks. Matthew Lambert, having joined the championship late, Sparks makes a move on Matthew Lambert for the lead. As we see Cutler doing his best Flymo impression. Fraser's now going to get that move, keep first place, sorry, and demote Matthew Lambert to third. Matthew Lambert dives into the pits at the last minute, and it looks like it's strategic based on his fuel. Fraser and Sparks, who knows what they're doing right now in terms of strategy, on the basis that one of them might be listening to this. I'm not going to go around announcing fuel levels and stuff, it'll give the other one an unfair advantage. As we just see Cutler, after his excursion not so long ago, has picked up a little bit of a penalty. No major issue though, it's only a tenth of a second. Fredo getting very sideways in that. He's chewed up his tyres as well. You can see he's really hammering the brakes on that car. Scar was going really slow there, and Big Z had a massive speed advantage over him. I wonder if Scar was just pitted. I think he had. Big Z just had having pitted the lap earlier, was just quicker. So Fraser's pitted early. When are we going to see Sparks come into the pits? So Fraser now needs a really, really good outlap and could do without traffic. So where's he come out? He's come out in clear air. So Fraser potentially saw a gap there and chose to put his car in that gap. We're going to see Sparks come in. If he leaves it out too late, he's at risk of losing too much on-track pace. He's running in the 46s at the minute. It's Sparks. No, he's going to come in. Cutler's going to do the same. It's a case of whether Fredo does the same. No, Fredo stays out. Fraser now on his fresh tyres, if he gets a really good outlap in, could jump these guys in the pits, because they're going to need to take on fuel. He's had the opportunity to just throw a good lap in. Does he manage to do it? As we see Sparks come out in front of him, he's going to close in. And Cutler comes out as well. Let's have a quick check on their fuel. Fredo is in the lead, but he's got to pit this lap. He's on literal fumes. So they made their stints last 10 minutes, so that's a 2-stop for these guys now. They're of course not obliged to run particular tyre compounds. If they want to run super softs all the way, they can do. These boys will have done a little bit of testing and will know what's quicker and what suits their driving style most importantly. What you'll tend to find is a strategy that may be quick for Sparks, for example, may be really slow for someone like Cutler, whose driving style is very different. Cutler's someone who's very good at preserving tyre life and stuff. As we see Fraser coming through, setting purple sectors. Purple sectors means fastest of everyone. So he's really making these new tyres work for him. Purple again. Does he make a move? A little bit of contact with Sparks there. I wouldn't really say there's anything in that. That was probably the definition of a racing incident. Fraser is a very clean driver. I'll give him that. Somewhat alien-like as well. That's cost him a few temps though. So his outlap actually was his personal best time, Fraser. The current fastest man on track though is this guy, Scar Wars, who has pitted. You will remember earlier on in the race he was dead last after meeting the wall after some contacts. I don't think it was his fault given what I saw. I'm not saying it was necessarily anyone's fault, but he certainly didn't drive himself into the wall, and he's made his way past Bigsy and Fredo. Fredo's had a nightmare somewhere. Well, in fact what he's done is just had a really long pit stop and he's not had the best outlap. So Sparks then, that's the fastest lap of the race of 45.3. That's nearly a second slower than the fastest time we've seen in the feature race then. So these boys are really, looking after tyres and stuff like that a little bit better than they were before. Do we see two cars really close? We do. That's Scar Wars and Matthew Lambert. So Matthew Lambert, who's a really strange strategy. He's not changed his tyres, so he filled up on fuel but kept his mediums on. Really strange strategy, because what Matthew Lambert's got now is a problem, because if he pits now, whatever tyres he's going to take next, they're going to have to make the remaining 15 minutes to make his strategy work. He's going to come into the pits and change those. It could really cost him, Matthew Lambert. I'm afraid he was battling with these boys. I think his pit crew have made an error somewhere, and that will have really let him down. As we see, Fraser's now the owner of the fastest lap of 45.3. So these boys just trading fastest laps at the front. They do love battling with each other, these guys. You tend to see they will try and undercut one another and react to what the other person's doing, and it tends to lead to them being quite close on track. I would expect to see them pit again in about 5 minutes time, and then they will probably repeat what they've done and stick on a new pair of softs, new set of softs, and fuel to the end. So fuel to like 70% again, something like that, and that will see them to the end of the race. We'll probably see Cutler do a very similar thing. He of course pitted lap 14. Yeah, everyone's pitted lap 14, so in theory lap 28 is when we'll see these guys come in again. So we'll keep an eye out for when that happens. Scar Wars is having a really good race after, like I commented what we saw before. Best of the rest almost in it, to quote F1 terms. Fredo not long since pitted. Fredo were really heavy on fuel. So whether he's aiming now to stretch this tank of fuel, he's about 75% fuel at the minute, is Fredo. He could potentially make that work, but he would need to save a lot of fuel in order to make it work. Meanwhile, he's got Bigsy chomping down, and he'd have to fight his natural racer instinct. We see these guys close again, so I just clocked it on the mini-map. So these two are now just purely racing each other. They will be on matching strategies. They are dropping Cutler ever so slightly. But these are about as equal as you can be, I guess, at this minute in time. They're on the same tyres, same sort of fuel. They will be mirroring each other's strategy pretty much to the percent. So this will come down to driver's skill, endurance, nerves, all that sort of stuff. So probably about 7 laps away from their pit, I'd imagine, something like that. Who knows? They may pit a little bit early. In fact, no, it won't be 7 laps. It won't be another 7 laps, surely, will it? I'd imagine lap 24 is where they're probably going to pit, because if they're doing 10-minute stints, it's another 2 or 3 laps maybe. You'll probably see them come in. Anyway, we'll see how that pans out. Yeah, not much action elsewhere, so it might be worth keeping an eye on it. Matthew Lambert's been in and bollocked his pit crew for forgetting to change his tyres. I've seen a change in the lead. Sparks is now in the lead of the race. When did that happen? Oh, it's always been that way. My apologies. These two may start to approach traffic though, and that may influence their pit decision. And what you don't want to do is get stuck behind the back marker. Yeah, we're probably approaching their second pit window, not far away. Does one of them want to brave it? They're still running decent lap times. You will notice that the lap time's starting to drop off ever so slightly now. They were running in the 45.3s. 45.6, 45.7, 45.8, 45.9, 46.0, 46.1. So if you look at Fraser's lap times, he's losing a tenth a second a lap by being on these tyres. That's what the tyre multiplier is doing, and his lap times are a fantastic illustration of that. If you look at the lap time illustrated in purple, that's his fastest lap, and he's just gone backwards since then. So that was not too long. If you think he pitted lap 14. As he sets a 46.1, so yeah, he's still going backwards as Fraser. Sparks, we've seen a very similar pattern in Sparks' lap times. He's had to do a little bit of defending in there as well though, so there's the odds low 45. Yeah, so they're losing a tenth a second a lap. They are still gaining though on Cutler's time. Behind, they are effectively giving each other a little bit of slipstream and push. Will any of them pit this lap? Fraser's really destroyed those tyres. They decide to stay out. So Fraser, by virtue of being in the dirty air, will be getting a little bit more understeer than Sparks will be getting, and that will really affect him on this corner in particular. So he will be scrubbing that front left tyre pretty much right at the corner. Sparks is now approaching Bigsy, and this may lead him to consider pitting this lap just to break out of traffic. They have got a decent gap behind them as we see Scar Wars and someone else pit. As Fraser just runs it too wide there. He's going to have dirty tyres. Just whether the leaders pit now. Looks like Bigsy has just well and truly got out of the way. Fraser does pit. So now Sparks needs a really fast in lap. He'll probably be putting the hammer down right about now. By the contrary, Fraser needs to get this pit stop right as perfect as he can get it. This is his team fueling him up there. There's some Tesco Momentum petrol. Fredo now up into... Cutler's had an issue. Cutler pitted? Yeah, Cutler's pitted. That's a pit stop, overtake that. Cutler's come out behind Fredo. So you've seen Fraser now come out in clear air. A little bit of a track cut penalty to argue about. Sparks now pits. Sparks in the pits. 23 seconds ahead of Fraser. These guys were almost on top of each other coming into the pits. Is Cutler going to interrupt this? Cutler running in third. Fraser's had a mare somewhere, and Cutler's really caught up to these guys. Does Fraser manage to jump Sparks? No, Sparks is all the way up there. Look, this has not worked out for Fraser. He's lost an absolute ton of time on his outlet. I don't know if he had an issue. Maybe we'll speak to him after the race. Who knows? Now Fraser's got Cutler to worry about. Looks like both these guys might well be going to the end of the race. Fredo was also involved in that as well. We do see Cutler set purple sector time, so Cutler is going for this. He is not letting this lie. Yeah, as he sets a purple sector time again. We'll go on board with Cutler. Fraser's really struggling at the minute. Whether he's got dirty tyres or not, I'm not too sure. They have reeled in Sparks a little bit. So the gap is 2.7 seconds. 45.383 for Cutler. So just off Fraser's fastest lap time. Yeah, his outlet was 49 seconds. Opposed that to... actually, it was about the same. It was about the same. So somewhere, I think Sparks' pit crew just did a better job. And he's now pulling away. Meanwhile, Matthew Lambert has made a few places back up. He's back up into 5th. So we've got Fredo running a good race in 4th at the minute. Absolutely destroying his tyres though, I'm afraid, so his lap times are going to start to drop away. Matthew Lambert running consistently in the 46 second region, doing a nice consistent job. In 5th he has got Scar Wars for company, but he is building that gap all the same. Scar Wars is someone we know is very capable of a race win. We've seen him do it before. Biggsy currently running in last position. He's going to peel off into the pits now. Don't know why he's done that, whether he just wants to get off the hard tyre, I'm not too sure. Sparks having just set the fastest lap of the race of 45.2. We did see him setting purple sectors on his outlap. Does he improve that? No, not quite. So it's Fraser v Cutler. Cutler's going to go for the inside line. A little bit of a door bang, but I think that's okay. These guys had a bit of a coming together in the last race, don't forget. So there's history with these guys. Fraser's not going to want to let him get away with that. Right on board with Fraser for a minute. In all this excitement, oh, he throws one up the inside. Absolute send from Fraser. We'll go and have a look at that. He made the apex though, made the corner. So have another little bit of a review of that move. Yeah, Fraser, it was a little bit late, but he made the apex. He was getting the same sort of speed he normally does. Cutler tried to cut him off, but it looks like he just reacted to it maybe a little bit late. A good move, but Cutler's not someone you can get rid of easily. All the while, Sparks has just been able to drive off. Initially, they were starting to reel him in a little bit, but Sparks has put the hammer down now, and he's driving away. So 4 and a bit minutes remain. So Fraser's got plenty of fuel. He's burning his tyres up a little bit. Cutler's doing a really good job on his tyres. I think he did pit earlier than these guys. Certainly pitted a little bit earlier than Fraser did. So he's got older, more worn tyres. Of course, effectively done another 10 laps of those ones. This is really the only on-track action to watch. Everyone else has spread out a little bit. Matthew Lambert pits again. I think he realised he maybe needed a little bit more fuel. A little bit of a door bang between these two. Fraser goes for the switchback. Cutler looks to have just outbroke himself. Again, good racecraft shown by both of these guys, to be fair. They're racing quite well at the minute. So if we just go for a look from Cutler's perspective, we'll go on his roof cam. So he gets that move done, chomping onto Fraser, and he just goes for the undercut. So your current order, ladies and gentlemen, with 3.5 minutes remaining. VLX Sparks currently leads by 5 seconds. Commanding lead after that second pit stop, just managed to pull away after that. Him and Fraser were pretty much head to toe in the second stint. Somewhere along the line Fraser did lose a bunch of time, whether his pit crew caused him to do that or not, I'm not too sure. He's been embroiled in a battle with Cutler for the last couple of laps, only just having won out in that one, and Cutler's now 6 tenths behind him. Cutler's got a big old gap to 4th, with that being currently occupied by Scar Wars. Scar Wars would have overtaken Fredo in the pits because he's recently stopped for new boots. And then Matthew Lambert, who's having a very different race to the one he had at the in the sprint race. He's had a few pit stops this time round. He's just been in and changed some super soft tyres for the end, so he's the only person at the minute to run the super soft tyre. Maybe he's going for the fastest lap point. This is probably what he might be up to. No point watching you, Sparks, I'm afraid. The action is behind you. Fraser and Cutler. Cutler has managed to take another tenth and a half out of him in the last lap. 2 minutes remaining in this one, probably time for another 3 laps or so. This could go down to the wire. One thing to mention to the viewers, if you divert your eyes to the bottom of the screen, you'll notice. In fact, I can do my mouse here. Look, can't I? Can I do my mouse? Let's have a look. No, I can't do my mouse. I can't do that. Anyway, without giving anything away to the guys who might be listening to this, because it's very tactical and involving. But if you look at the bottom of Cutler's thing, you'll notice something that is very different to what is on the bottom of Fraser's thing. Very interesting. That won't make sense to the guys racing, because I know some of these guys listen to me while I'm doing this. But it will make sense to you, and that's all that matters. So a minute remains, penultimate lap for these guys now. They will make it to the timing line in time to start their 38th and final lap. However, they won't have time for a 39th. So it's whether these guys have put enough fuel in at the pit stops to make it last. Sparks can, in all fairness, now afford to relax a little bit. He's got a 6.6 second gap, and he can afford to take a foot off the gas, so to speak. Fraser can't afford that luxury, but he is dropping Cutler he's Cutler having to fuel save now. Not too sure if he's having to fuel save, but he's certainly dropped back a lot from Fraser, and I think that fight for second is over for now. Scar Wars 4th, Fredo in 5th. Just makes it across the line before the timer elapses. So does Matthew Lambert. I think Biggs is going to be the first one to cross the line officially and finish. He is. Meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, your winner is VLX Sparks, bringing home a commanding lead. Fraser did a really good job in this one and brings home second. Cutler looks to have ran out of motion lotion, and he's in 3rd. A good race from Scar Wars. Probably my driver of the race, to be fair, for Scar Wars. If I was to vote for one, just based on the fact that the first lap he was slammed into a wall and has recovered to 4th. So a good race for Scar Wars there, mate. Well done. TC Fredo winning the super soft tyre right at the end, and Matthew Lambert going for the good old handbrake across the finishing line. Why not, mate? Why not? And then the last of the classified drivers was NGR Biggsy in 7th position. To my My phone's not charging for some reason. Why is it not doing that? Lovely stuff. Let's have a look. Perfect. Right, there you go again. Another close race for the minis. And that's what we come to expect, isn't it? Another Sparks win though. So the juggernaut that is VLX Sparks continues to roll on. Fraser's also picked up good points out of this one. Alright, so let's just give Sparks a congratulations. Yeah, I think my driver of the race has got to be Star Wars for that. I would be tempted to give it to probably a Fraser for his defensive driving. He also raced really well. Matthew Lambert in the sprint race did a really good job. Cutler always fights, doesn't he? Loves a battle. Yeah, F124YS for me did a really good job of fighting in that one. TC Fredo did a good job in the feature race as well. But I think Star Wars for me, Pipsit did a really good job. Was involved in a little bit of contact at the start with Bigsy. Unfortunately lost out during that in the chicane. Was turned into the wall, stone dead last, massive big gap. Right at the start of the race when everyone's bunched up and slipstreaming each other, and recovered, kept calm, plugged in the consistent laps and brought it in for a 4th place finish. Just off the podium unfortunately, but when you got aliens like Sparks, Fraser and Cutler in the room, it's easy to look bad into it, you know what I mean. So that's the Chewitt Cooper Cup round 7 over and done with, ladies and gentlemen. Of course we'll get some standings from that after the race. Next week we pack up from Kyoto, but we take the short drive over to Tokyo, and we're going for the Tokyo Central Outer Loop, and I don't know if that's going to be one with rain on it. I'm not sure. I will check that, because we have got a Red Bull Ring race coming up that is in the wet, so I don't know whether they're going to do the Tokyo race in the wet as well. Probably not. I'd expect that to be a dry circuit. So yep, Tokyo, then we've got Sardegna B, then we've got Scuba, then we've got the Red Bull Ring in the wet, and then the last race is in a month's time, and that's going to be a GP endurance race. I'll try and get a co-commentator for that one, because it's an hour long, and announcements will come on the page in due course for that. In the meantime, this has been CJW Racing. You've been watching the Chewitt Cooper Cup by Next Gen Racing. Check out Dark Smoker as well for his commentary on the same series, just a different lobby that we run. And yeah, if you want to get involved, check out some of the links in the description below, and thank you for tuning in. Take it easy. Bye 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 bye. In fact, before I cut this off, let me just check comments, because I always end up binning this. I notice someone's commented later when I watch it back. Let's have a look. And the comments aren't loading, so if you have commented, ladies and gentlemen, I can't see it. No, thank God for that. Right, okay. I'm going to cut the stream off now. Thank you for tuning in, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. See you later.